Rob here from way out west. I recently had a chat with UK harmonica maestro Steve Weston. Steve will be performing at our club on Sunday the March the 9th, part of his Australian tour. Some of you may know of Steve's music career and some may not. So let me tell you why we're in for a treat. Steve has played with the one and only Wilko Johnson of Dr. Feelgood fame. He has also toured extensively with Mud Morganfield, the son of Muddy Waters. I guess you know who Roger Daltrey is, right? Well, Steve has also been part of Mr. Daltrey's touring band. Steve also regularly performs with Trickbag, the best blues band out of Sweden. If you don't know who Trickbag is, then I encourage you to check them out. They are awesome. As a bonus, Nathan Barreto will be joining Steve's touring band. I hope you enjoy the interview. Please hit the like and subscribe button. And as always, rock on, my friends. Can you tell us a little bit about where you grew up in the UK?
Well, I grew up in Essex, which is kind of around about 40 miles east of London. It's a county, and I grew up on Canvey Island, which is a small island on the Thames estuary, and it was a great place to grow up on. Are you familiar with the band Dr. Feelgood?
I've got a few questions about Dr. Feelgood, so
Yeah, well,
yes,
they were a very successful band from Canvey Island, along
yes.
with Eddie and the Hot Rods, but both in the mid 70s, up and onwards. Very in the charts, in the national charts, and Feel Good's their album was actually their live album went to number one, and that is one of the inspirations for what I do was the Dr. Feelgood band because they were on the television and I saw them when I was at school and it kind of changed my life.
Yeah, we'll come back to that because I got quite a few questions.
Yeah.
I'm a big Wilko Johnson fan, so
All right. Oh, great.
we'll come back to that. So was music a big part of growing up, your family life?
Well, actually in my life, what it was, I mean, I don't know if it was like in Australia, but in the 60s, there were still lots of pianos left as part of the furniture of the home, which comes from the days before television, really. You had the radio, and then someone in the family would plonk out a tune on the piano, and everyone have a sing song, and a cup of tea and a bit of cake or whatever. So we had a piano as part of our furniture, and it became one of my toys.
Mm.
Like many kids, and I was shown some basic things on the piano. I mean, one of them was Ray Charles' "What I Say," just the bass line. Someone showed me how to do that, and I really liked the sound of it. And I taught myself to play the piano from that simple thing being shown. That I just learned by trial and error and using my ears. But I had an older brother, 13 years older, who would have been a mod in the 60s, sort of around about 63, 64, and he was very much into Georgie Fame and the Hammond stuff. And although we never had a record player till I was around, I've got to think about 14 or 15, 12, 13. It was late. It was late before we actually got a record player. And my dad went into a local Woolworths store and bought a selection of LPs on the rack that were 50p each. They were cheap, and one was the Boogie Woogie Explosions, which was Boogie Woogie piano, which I loved, and I learned a load of stuff off of that just by copying that.
Cool.
Because back in those days, anything was too fast. You probably remember you had LPs run at 33 RPM,
Mm.
but you could slow it down to 16 RPM,
Yeah.
um, and it was an octave lower, so you could still play it,
Mm.
but you could hear all the notes.
Mm.
So if it was a bit quick, you should pick it up. You could learn that way. So I did that a little bit. You take the dog out, and and yeah, he bought that. And the other one of the other ones was "This Is the Blues." It was a compilation with Sonny Boy Williamson on, and a lot of guys like that. So thank you. And that had harmonica on it, and so I asked my dad for Christmas, could he buy me a harmonica because I wanted to try and learn some of this stuff, and he bought me a chromatic, which was the wrong harmonica. So I spent a good way, wasn't it? So where was that? So I must have been a good 5 years trying to make that sound like the like it was the wrong harmonica, and it wasn't till I was 17 that I got I saw a cabinet display for Hohner harmonicas, and one had written on it blues harp. So that was it. Because it had blues harp written on it. I thought that must be the one I want. I bought it, and bingo, it was the right harmonica. So
Cool.
it went into place that way. But other than that, no one really played any music. My mum played a little bit of piano by ear, which wasn't any help, if I've been honest with you. My dad gave me some advice of play the melody with your thumb and let your fingers just fall on the other keys to woolly it up, which was a ridiculous thing to say, but um, it made a comical sort of tune. So no, it would. I'm the only musician in my immediate family. I have a cousin who's a piano player, but
I,
in my
I
family,
believe Stevie Wonder played chromatic harp, didn't he?
yeah, he was a chromatic harp player.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You
yeah.
can certainly hear the difference, can't you?
Oh, it's
Uh,
a completely different tone. It's a
yeah.
completely different.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a completely different instrument. Obviously, it's still a harmonica, but it's a different tech. It's a different way. The blues harp is the one that in my world, which everyone loves. I do play a bit of chromatic,
Yep.
but kind of, I guess you would call it basic. I don't want to get too technical, but I play third position
Yeah.
blues
I,
harmonica.
I also believe now that probably Europe and the UK's best harmonica player, but you still do play some piano, don't you?
Yeah, I'm not Britain's best harmonica player by far. I'm not. It's
Well,
very
you're up
emphatic
there.
that people say it and think I am. That's lovely, but I can assure you I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm I just play what I know, and people like it, and that's good enough.
Cool. Oh, well, that's very nice. So what brand of harps do you use now?
I use Hohner. I've never really wandered from Hohner. I've always used Hohner Marine Band, the ones with the wooden combs, the older traditional ones.
Yep. And who are some of your favorite harp players, both old school and some more contemporary ones?
Well, on the old school, Little Walter is number one. Little Walter and Sonny Boy, Big Water Horton, Sonny Terry, from the old school. The master George Smith, all the masters, as it were, are still the best in my opinion. And in modern, of course, you have Kim Wilson, who's a phenomenal artist. Sadly, William Clark has gone now. He was a big influence at helping me play, learning off his records. Um, what Piazza, of course, Now you got these wizards out there that are taking it to a whole new level, like Dennis Groenling, who I know, he's a nice guy. But he's taking it to another level.
Yeah. There's a UK guy that I've had some CDs for a long time now, and I believe he's a mate of yours, Paul Lamb.
Absolutely, Paul Lamb is an absolute master of it, and
Yeah,
he has been all his life. I mean, he was a young man. He was a phenomenal harmonica player.
yeah, yeah. I like to delve into the music, and I came along a live album of Paul's years and years ago, and I thought, geez, this guy's good, so I really
Yeah,
love
I
him.
actually play piano and organ on one of his albums.
Okay, all right, cool.
You
I'll
haven't
have to
got that
check
one.
that one out.
It's called "Take Your Time and Get It Right."
All right, I'll check it out. Now, we mentioned Wilco Johnson before and Dr. Feelgood. I'm a huge fan of Wilco and
Oh,
Dr.
brilliant!
Feelgood and his solo stuff too. And I
Yeah.
read a fantastic book, Don't You Leave Me Here. And man, he defined the odds with the with his health issues, didn't he? He just kept living and living, and we're so grateful for it. What was it like hanging out with Wilco?
Well, just how I hang out with him, he used to come to my local shows. We live local. I mean, he's about 2 miles from where I live, and when we played in town, in our local town, Southend-on-Sea, there was a Sunday lunchtime show that everybody played, and it's sadly gone now, called the Railway Hotel. It was a fantastic atmosphere. And he was always there, and sometimes with Norman Watt-Roy as well. They'd come along to watch us play. He loved my guitar player, Paul. Well, I hate saying my guitar player. The guitarist in my bag. It sounds like you own them, don't you? Paul Garner's a phenomenal musician. He loved Paul Garner's playing, and he loved my harmonica. And so, you know, I never hang out that much with
Okay.
him. He used to come there, and I saw him at the recording sessions I did for him.
Yep.
And we did a handful of shows together
Fantastic.
with Roger Daltrey as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a character.
Yeah.
He was
Yes.
a character.
Yeah. I'll come back to Roger too, but the other guy I want to talk about is Mud Morganfield.
Hmm.
A lot of our listeners might not know he's the son of Muddy Waters.
Yeah, the
Another,
firstborn.
yeah, I mean, he's a
Right.
fantastic artist.
Oh, God, phenomenal,
Yeah.
phenomenal. There's something rich about that voice, that deep voice that he's got. And I met Mud when he first came to the UK. The first shows he did, I was asked to play harmonica with him um, back in, I think, 2008. It was, so quite a while back now. And he's always chosen me ever since, if he can,
Yeah.
if I'm available. I mean, I've done most of his shows. There's only a few that I've not been able to do because I've been busy doing something else already booked in that I couldn't change. But it's an absolute honour, to play
Yeah. Yeah.
alongside him. He does his own material, but he does lots of muddy stuff in the show. And any harmonica player will tell you that to play those songs that Little Walter and Walter Horton and Junior Wells played on is an honour, and
Yeah.
it's lovely to do. And also, I mean, a lot of those stuff like Mojo Working and Manish Boy and Hoochie Coochie Man, they're kind of regarded as old chestnuts. I mean, they're old. Uh, if a band does it, you think, oh, they're doing that one. Oh,
Mm.
can't you think of something else to do? But when you do it, they're great songs.
Mm.
There's no question of why they're so popular. They're just really good
Yeah.
songs. But they've sort of been done to death.
Mm.
But when you do it with him, it's a whole different thing because of the heritage. Um, you actually, yeah, it's the closest thing to the Muddy Waters Band. You're not going to see the Muddy Waters Band
No,
anymore.
there's a
Muddy,
direct line.
it's the closest thing you're going to get to it, and he's got a good bunch of musicians around him, and it's a lovely to sit there and you know for while you're on stage, you're sort of you're taking the shoes a little water took with his dad.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember meeting Willie Dixon's grandson when we went to Chicago, and he was telling some stories about his granddad, and he said his granddad was really tough. Before I could eat breakfast, I had to practice my music. He goes, he wouldn't allow to eat breakfast until he spent some time
Wow.
practicing his music.
Oh yeah.
Let's go back to Roger Daltrey because that's pretty incredible. How did you get to play with Roger Daltrey? How did that all come about?
That was totally through Wilco Johnson. Wilco, I got a call from Wilco's management saying I knew he was recording an album with Roger, and he said so he'd like you to play some harmonica on some tracks on the album. I said, yeah, I'd love to do that. And so it wasn't entirely an overdub, so I never recorded at the same time as Roger or
Yep.
met him. I didn't meet Roger until after the record was out and after the first single was released. And we was asked to go and do a promotional video for that single, which is available on YouTube. Um, and I met him that day when we were doing that recording,
Mm.
and since then he's asked me to sort of join him on tour.
Wow, that's amazing. We seen him play in New Orleans at Jazz Fest one year, and he's one of those guys that from my listening, and I'm not that learned, but he's still got the voice. He hasn't lost his voice.
I think it might even be better than it ever was, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it might be in be 82, 81, 82 this year.
yeah,
It's a phenomenal voice,
yeah, yeah,
incredible voice,
yeah.
you know.
He and Robert Plant are similar in that
Yeah,
they can
yeah,
still,
they're still going, you know, these old guys.
yeah,
They're old guys now, but they're sort of pioneers in the rock style of singing. I
mm,
mean, England
yeah,
really dominated that period of music, didn't they? With progressive music, you know, from the blues and rock and roll into what is called rock
yeah,
music. You know, they're the pioneers, and the Who especially. You know, I mean Keith Moon. I mean his drumming
yeah,
is outstanding, and sort of wrote the book on and John Bonham. You know,
yeah,
Led Zeppelin and the Who both. They're kind of the inventors of rock music almost,
yeah,
aren't
yeah,
they?
yeah.
Yeah.
I watched a YouTube interview of you this morning, and it was a guy. He's a harmonica player too, and you were just chatting about harps. And I'm not technical enough to talk about all that stuff, but you told a really funny story about the first time you seen Muddy Waters. Can you relay that
Oh
story to
yeah,
us
yeah,
again?
that
Yeah,
story. Yeah,
yeah,
me and my pal Paul Jones, and over pick up. I've lost touch with Paul sadly.
yeah,
Um, he another thing. I mean, when we were growing up in the mid 70s, you know, you didn't have the obviously didn't have the internet and all this stuff. So we kind of we both didn't, well, especially me, but I didn't really like the music that was popular in the charts. It was a bit too sugary for me, and something was missing in it, and I didn't like it. We used to go out, you know, and it'd be playing, and it'd be quite a lot of disco style stuff going on, and glam rock,
yeah,
you know, was big in England. Um, and neither of us really liked it, but especially me, I didn't like it at all. But we used to hang out around his house, and his uncle had some LPs that he just left there, and there was the first Rolling Stones record,
yeah,
which I loved. You know, I couldn't believe that. I loved his stuff. Didn't really know. And I think Rhythm and Blues All Stars, it was called, another one, and it had Sonny Boy, Muddy Waters, and a whole bunch of guys on it, you know, which they were quite popular LPs in England, those compilations of various artists. Um, and of course, we loved the Muddy Waters track, and he read in the New Musical Express, you know, he says, "Look, Muddy Waters is playing in London," and this was 1976, I believe. Um, should we go and see him? I said, "Well, yeah,
yeah,
you know." And we only knew one record. I got a feeling it might have been Mojo Working. It's either Mojo or Hoochie Coochie Man. One of the big numbers was on this album. And we went up there to the New Vic Theatre up in London, and we were up there, and the band had come, and neither of us knew what he looked like. We hadn't a clue what he looked like because it was a compilation. I think the cover had a picture of Sonny Boy on it. Um, and so they literally came on, and I was saying, and I'm pointing to one, and I think it's possibly John Primer, and that must be Muddy because he's playing the guitar. And then it was Jerry Portnoy, I think, on the harmonica, and I said, "Oh, you know," we didn't know who he was, but of course they did a couple of songs before Muddy actually came on, and then he came on. He had a walking stick in those days, I think, and he came on and got onto his stall, and we said, "Oh, there he is,
there he-
there he is, that's the man," you know.
that's right.
So we went to see him twice. Yeah, I saw him twice when came over.
Um, what's the blues scene like in the UK? It's pretty strong here in Australia. We have
Yeah,
like clubs. Yeah.
sorry.
No, yeah, we have sort of clubs like our club and the Melbourne Blues Appreciation Society that really love to keep that musical work alive. And then we've got festivals still dedicated to the blues. Is it similar over there in the UK?
It is similar over here. It has gone. I feel it's probably gone off a bit. Um, it's yeah, we still have blues clubs. You know, they're all dotted around the country. We have a couple of blues festivals, a handful of blues festivals. Uh, it's an odd one because I mean I've spoke about this for many years with other musicians. You know, in England back in the day, trad jazz was really popular, and I've got friends that pianist and a clarinet player who played all the trad jazz clubs. He says, but we used to work all the time. He says, but slowly the people that loved that music got older and older, and they didn't come out, and then suddenly they passed on.
Mm.
So the clubs, you have a handful of people in those clubs, and I fear that the blues will go that way unless we inject these young audience into it,
Mm.
because it's an older audience,
Mm.
certainly, because they really appreciate it, and it reminds them when they liked it in their youth.
Mm.
But it's getting old, they're getting fewer and far between as it goes on. I just hope, we've got the London clubs. We've got Ain't Nothing But the Blues in London, which is a young people's club, and that was fantastic. I played there 20 or 25 years. I was playing there
Mm.
regularly, a couple of times a month,
Mm.
and it's all young people in there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they love it.
Mm.
But there's only a handful probably around the country that are going to be like that. Most of
Yep.
them are going to
Yep.
be for sit down older audience.
Mm.
Um, Sadly,
Yeah.
it's an old music now, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
But,
there's.
but the festival, you get young people at the festivals, obviously. Well, you get a mixture of ages at festivals.
Yeah.
I play in Scandinavia or not? You aware of that?
Yeah. No. No.
No, well, I've been playing with a Swedish band called Trickbag
Oh.
since 2009. I've been there.
Okay.
I went as a guest, um, and with them backing me, and then they asked me to join the band, and I've been playing there ever since. And I go there regularly.
Oh,
Yeah,
fantastic.
you need to check them out. A great
Yeah,
band.
I will. Yeah, for sure.
And the blues scene over there is, I feel bigger than it is here. The festivals, there's far more festivals
Yep.
on the Scandinavian scene.
Yeah. Like a lot of the African Americans in the 60s and that went like to Germany and France, the blues players, because they were treated like
Differently,
real
yeah,
people there.
yeah. Finland, there's a lot went to Finland as well. Um, they have, they have dedicated blues cruises
Mm.
that go out for a couple of days, and those festivals that are a ship where you go to sea, and there's bands playing every day, all virtually all through the day, right till the time for bed.
Yep.
Um, there's so many bands playing. They're just a wonderful event,
Yeah.
really good event.
We've got
So
a big
really,
festival coming up shortly in May. It's a couple of up in Queensland we all go to, and Ali Paperboy Reed's coming out to play that. Do you know him?
no, I don't
He's
know.
a UK guy. He's a younger guy, but he's
No.
certainly got that blues influence about him. So I'm
Wow, yeah.
really looking forward to seeing him. Did you ever see John Mayall in his earlier days?
Not in the earlier days, no. My brother was a big fan of his. The Beano album, I
Mm.
bought that when I
Mm.
was collecting records. I mean, it's like the same with most of the people my age. You went to your record store
Mm.
and you flicked through the blues section and you had a look what there was there,
Yeah,
and you took a chance on it,
yeah, yeah,
because you wouldn't have heard it.
yeah,
And I saw that, and I bought that, and I played that a lot when I
yeah.
first bought it.
There's a lot of
And I've got some. Do you know the producer of those albums? Is a fellow called Mike Vernon.
okay, yeah,
Yeah, I became friends with him.
okay, yeah,
He's a singer in his own right now.
yeah,
He has his own band, Cat Squirrel, his latest band is, and yeah, I met him, and I did some recording with him and for him on various sessions. But he recorded all those guys. John, he
yep.
recorded that mate. He had a now. He worked for Decca, but then he got his own label called Blue Horizon, and all
Yeah,
the Fleetwood Mac he recorded,
yeah.
Chicken Shack, or the British blues boom of the late '60s. He was an integral part of that.
Chicken Shack, didn't they have Christine Perfect in that band? She
Yeah,
when
I
I
think so. Stan Webb, wasn't it? No, was Chicken Shack? Oh God.
Yeah, Sam Webb was Chicken Shack, but I thought
Yeah.
Christine Perfect, who then
Yeah,
became
yeah, yeah.
Christine McVie and
I think
Fleetwood Mac.
they all moved around on the history, but it was them, and Savoy Brown was another
Oh
band
yeah,
that were popular at that time.
yeah,
I've got a few of their records. I really liked Chris Jordan's voice. I really thought he was a
yeah.
fantastic singer.
My ex-brother-in-law, I he's from Glasgow, and he came out in the very early 70s. He's a year older than me, and I finished up marrying his sister. They didn't work, but anyway. And but we're still good mates. But he brought a lot of records out with him that we had no idea. Like I fell in love with the Groundhogs. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
yeah, it
yeah,
was unbelievable. Tony T.S. McPhee.
yeah. Same with me, yeah.
Yeah, so it was that. I think I was the first one ever to hear um, Dark Side of the Moon because he had it and he bought it from
Right.
Glasgow with him and it wasn't here at that stage,
Yeah, the world's opened up. I mean, it's lovely the world's opened up. You can get
Yes.
anything you want,
Yeah.
but there was something special about finding something,
Yeah.
isn't there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, whether it's better, I don't know. Yeah, just finding something is really more inspirational. If you're a musician, you like I say looking through that record
Yeah.
store and you find there's only a handful of it, and you pick one out and take it home and think, "Wow, look at these! Listen to
Yeah.
this!"
Yeah.
And show your mates. And then if you're musicians, say, "Wow, I want to, yeah, let's get some of that."
Yeah.
It really gets you going. But now, you can say, "Oh, have you heard this? Oh, yeah, I've heard that one. Oh, I'll listen to it later.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
rush. Nothing exciting about that. It's all available."
Yeah. If you were like
Sort of
me, I used to
it's
get
like a
paid.
saturation
Yeah.
of things that are lovely.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe not such a great thing. You don't love it so much.
I like it. Yeah, talking about record stores, I used to get paid fortnightly. I worked in Melbourne, get paid fortnightly, and I'd be straight down to the import shop, flicking through. As you said, take it home. As the record's playing, you're staring at the cover and seeing what
Yes, it reading
information
all
you
the
can
bits of it. It's
get.
got much more value to it,
Yeah,
and it sinks in. And you're probably the same as me. And I've spoken to other friends who feel the same.
mm,
You played an LP. You obviously played it more than once.
yes,
Now, I've never downloaded anything, and I wouldn't know how to do it. So
no,
everything is physical music when I play it. But you played your LP, and you can listen to the LP again after 40 years, and you can hear the next track coming on. You know what's
yeah,
coming next.
yeah,
Your brain says, "Oh, this one's coming next,"
yeah,
and they said, "Yeah, I feel exactly the same. After
yeah,
this track's going to play."
yeah,
Your memory is
yeah,
that library has got it, logged in there. They're such a
yeah,
big influence on your brain
yeah,
to have those LPs.
yeah,
Whereas now it's like they go, I don't know. I've seen friends do it. I was try buy that, have a little. No, I don't like that one, and
yeah.
it's sort of I don't know, throwaway.
The only downside, because I've just ticked over into 70 years of age, is that you have to get up after 20 minutes and turn that bugger over.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've got vinyl upstairs, but I haven't had a record player for good 35, 40 years now. I've just, I love music, but I love my records, but I just don't play them.
Yeah,
I've got CDs. I play CDs.
yeah,
Usually it's in the car when traveling to a show when I play music.
yeah, yeah.
These days at home, we don't have music on.
Have you been to Australia before?
Yes, I came in 2019, just before the pandemic. The pandemic had struck
Okay.
within a month that I got home.
All right. And did you get down to Melbourne or was it for?
Yeah, did we do Melbourne? I don't think we did. No, no, we did Adelaide and
Yeah.
around the Sydney area. Yeah, Dan Sullivan again. He first took me over.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. It was Dan that contacted
Oh,
me.
it's
So,
Dan. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, we're really, really looking forward to seeing you. You will be touring with an Australian band? Are you picking up some
Yeah, well,
players?
Dan put the band together for me,
Yeah,
so I think most of the shows are with the band he's put together.
yeah.
I'm still not familiar with it. It's my job this week to go through and try and learn the names, so when we're on
All
stage
right.
together, I know who they are.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a different band. I think Mike Ricks is still playing bass. Apart from that, there's different players from last time. So I learned all the other names, so I've got to learn
Yeah.
another lot. But I think when we go out to Adelaide, there's another band are picking up there.
Yeah.
When we go out to Perth, there's another band I'll go out there,
Yeah.
I believe.
From Melbourne to Perth is a long way away.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's but the pickup band is the way it goes these days, and
Yeah.
you don't fly a whole band out, you just fly an
No.
artist out and put
Yeah.
a band
Yeah.
around them. It's
Yeah.
much more economical, and I enjoy it. I really
Yeah.
like it.
Keeps you fresh too, I guess.
It makes it fresh, and I like because as I always said just to Dan, I don't like bands to. I like musicians to be themselves.
Mm.
For me, that works best if they're comfortable playing the way they want to play.
Dan did
Which,
mention to me maybe a guitar player called Nathan Beretta.
yes, I believe he's doing some shows with us. Yeah,
He is sensational. He's been a
yeah,
regular down to our club. Just an
yeah. Looking forward to that.
incredible guitarist and singer, and yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic. So I hope he comes down to Melbourne with you. We'll see how we go.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think he's on most of the shows, I
Oh
think. Yeah.
right, well yeah, like anytime he's in town, we welcome him to the club. So yeah, really nice guy too. So
Oh,
that's
great.
great. All right. Well, that's about all I've got today, Steve. I really thanks for taking the time. I know it's very early for a musician over there, isn't it?
Oh no, we're up very early. We have a dog that has to be walked, and it just we're old people now, and I'm
Yeah.
66 this year, so
Oh, you're a youngster.
yeah, but you still get up earlier than you used to
Yeah, yeah. You
for,
go to bed earlier unless
for
you're
different
playing.
reasons. For different reasons, you have
Yeah,
to get up.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What sort of dog you got?
It's a little cross thing. It's a they call it a Cavachon. It's a cross between a Bichon Frise and a Cavalier King Charles Cavalier Spaniel.
We've got two King Charles Cavalier Spaniels here, and I'm
Have
surprised
you?
you can't hear our oldest one snoring next to me at the moment.
Yeah,
Does your
yeah.
dog snore?
Yeah, but it's a funny old cross. They're very, very pretty.
Yeah.
They don't shed their hair, which is great. But the Bichon Frise is a stubborn dog,
Uh,
and as you probably know, the Cavalier is a very lazy dog. So
yes.
we've got a stubborn, lazy dog that won't do anything,
Yeah,
and you've got some reward for her. If you had a
exactly right.
biscuit in your hand, she'd do anything: sit, lay down, roll over, run, come to her name.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, anywhere you go, call her name. She looks at you, and says, "What? What do you want?"
Unless she hears some cheese coming out of the fridge, well, then it's
Anything, any food or anything or anyone on the street has got anything to give her, there she go and forget about us. Just
yeah,
go
that's
straight.
right.
She's a really lovely little
Yeah,
dog, and
yeah,
she's 8 years old now. But yeah, they've crossed a stubborn dog with a lazy dog, and they're
yeah.
all the same.
Every
Everyone's
time
got.
we take our dogs to the vets, they keep saying they've got to lose weight. They've got to lose weight.
Oh, we're the same, yeah. Well, you know, that vet's lovely. She said, yeah, yeah, she's very healthy, all do's good, and not too much tartar on the teeth. She's a little bit round. I must be frightened of calling your dog, if you said your dog's fat, people go, "You're calling your dog fat." She's a little bit round. So she's been on a diet because when we're going away, my sister's going to be looking after her,
Yeah,
and my sister gives her treats all the
yeah,
time. All
yeah,
the time. She'll put on loads of weight. So we're slimming her right down.
yeah.
So many of these 3 weeks have been overfed.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you
yeah,
still live in Essex or?
I still live in Essex. I live in Leon-sea in Essex.
Yeah,
It's all along. I've always lived along the Thames estuary,
right.
at the end of the River Thames. Um,
Mm.
it's a
Uh,
very wide estuary, you
yeah,
know. You can see the other side quite
yeah,
clearly, but
yeah.
it's wide. Big ships come up there, and I've always lived here. It's lovely. I mean, we probably always will live here. We both like it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And when do you fly over to down under?
Next Tuesday, I think we're going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you have
Straight
a
to Sydney, meet up with Dan.
yeah, straight to Sydney or
Straight. No, it goes to Dubai.
oh, yeah, Dubai and then
And then
yeah,
Dubai to Sydney, yeah.
yeah.
And my wife's coming with us this time. Dan's invited her,
Oh,
which is
fantastic.
really
Yeah,
lovely because we don't we don't get holidays really because I'm always
yeah.
travelling,
Mhm.
and trying to tie it in with work and everything. It's never really been successful. It's always like the odd weekend here and there, you know. So
I
this
think
is
I think you're
lovely.
coming to Australia at the best time. Autumn's a beautiful time in Australia. It's you've got over those really hot days, and
Yeah.
it's nice during the day, and then just cools down a little bit in at night, so you can sleep. So that
But we're really looking forward to it. I mean, I'm obviously very much looking forward to it because
yeah,
I love my job, but my
yeah,
wife is so excited about
yeah.
it.
All right. And have you eaten Vegemite?
But yeah, I had some last time I was over. I had a bit of Vegemite because it's a bit like a strong version of ours Marmite.
That's right. Yes, yes, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So you'll be
good
right.
fun.
You'll be
Yeah, I had
right.
a Vegemite I saw a Vegemite sandwich. We was in a bar, and there on the chalkboard it said Vegemite sandwich. I said, "Oh, Dan, I've got to have one of them." Was it cheese and Vegemite? I think it
Cheese and
was.
Vegemite, yeah. That's what we
Yeah,
used to take to school when we went to state school. You have cheese and
yeah,
Vegemite for lunch, so it's
yeah,
perfect. Vegemite's made out of um, it's made out of the residue of beer.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah,
hops
but
and yeast in it.
it's got a big old yeast extracts with
Yeah, 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 yeah,
yeast extract.
yeah.
It's
It's good for you. A lot of vitamin B's in it. So,
yeah, yeah, a lot of vitamin B in it.
yeah, yeah,
We've got a Marmite here. You can get Vegemite here because I remember seeing it on the shelf, but it's not big.
yeah,
But you can, I think it's available.
yeah.
But Marmite is popular. They
Marmite,
do.
yeah, I know Marmite. Yeah.
And one thing they bought, I haven't seen it for a while. Marmite and peanut butter in a jar.
Oh no, no.
Well, you say no, but
Yeah,
I tell you what, I bought some for my friend who said no, and
yeah.
wow, what it is, it makes peanut butter really salty.
Ah,
So it's like having really salted peanut butter, and it just puts an extra. It's not what
it's
you
a,
think.
all
It's
right.
really nice. So Vegemite and peanut butter, they
All right.
might be a thing.
We'll try that.
Yeah, but it's in a jar on its own.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah,
not.
I
You
hear
don't
what
have
you're
to make it
saying.
yourself.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
buy it, it just says peanut butter with Marmite, and it
All
was
right.
gorgeous.
We'll give it a try.
Yeah.
All right, Steve. Thanks so much as again.
Thank you very much, Rob. And I'm really
And
looking forward to playing your
yeah,
club. I'm
yeah,
really looking forward to coming over.
yeah. No worries, man. We're gonna have a good time. Are you bringing merch with you, or will be over here?
No, I don't think I'm bringing it this
Have you
time.
got LBs under your own name?
I only got the one
Yeah.
I made in 2014, the live album.
Right.
I'll probably throw a couple of cards. I'll bring one for you. I'll bring one for the promoters if they haven't got one. But I'm not bringing any to sell.
Okay. All right. Because we normally sell a bit of merch, but that's okay.
Yeah. I'll see what. But it's the. I mean, it's the. I've got to
It's
clear
at
it.
weight. Yeah.
Customs and all that business, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll bring some promotional stuff.
All right. Cool. All right. And I guess Dan will be setting up some radio interviews for you and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, there's another one come through this morning. I think I've got another interview
Yeah.
with Scott. And I forget where the place is. So I've got it written. No, I can't remember where it is, but it's another one of the shows. We're going to
No
do an
worries.
interview.
All right, mate. I'll leave you to it. Enjoy your
Lovely
breakfast.
to speak to
And
you.
yeah, and
Uh,
we'll
and
see you
and
3 weeks.
we
About
speak
three.
3 weeks. Yeah, yeah. Soon come round.
All right, mate.
Very much,
All the
very,
best.
very much looking forward to it. All the best.
No
Yes.
worries, mate. Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.